is up? Of me tearing it apart, and it got to use and stuff as the PN stand. One of the two, they both work great. So we're gonna go ahead and I normally like to blow it out, but considering I am in a hotel, weight measurements between the reflex to these, I think it's like 3 grams heavier or 2 grams heavier. Go ahead and throw that puppy back on there. I already have another one that's ready to go. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get back into it. So putting a new one of these on, and I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. There's other ways or ideas to do it. I do use 9 of the reflex to do it. I just like to have that bearing kind of just go ahead and probably speed up the process here in the video while I do this. Whenever didn't grab, I just noticed it makes it a little more snug, and it goes this way as well. Right, so not only do you have the slot the most free moving when you go, and I kind of just like to look at it and make sure there's do that. I like to put the balls into the cup, whatever it might be, you know, maybe new to the sport, but they're excellent at dropping. We got that there, and then what I want to do is we have just a right amount of spacing, make sure they feel nice and good. This is my starting up. What is up? Quick short video of me assembling my rear diff, ball diff that I like to use on my modified cars. I had a video of me tearing it apart, and it got encrypted or something. I don't know what happened. It just didn't record. It's not loading. So I'm just gonna show you the assembly part of it. Tools that I like to use and stuff is the PN stand, set of pliers to put the C-clip back on, set of little thingies, can't remember the name of it right now, but you get the idea. To pop the clip out, tweezers, there we go, see? And then the 1.5 for this to take it off the rear diff. I normally have it all together and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and put this puppy back on. I have disassembled it. I've thrown it in my bearing cleaner from PN. I am using I believe brake cleaner maybe in this one, or lighter fluid. One of the two. They both work great. So we're gonna go ahead and get these puppies out of here. The balls and everything are in there. I normally like to blow it out, but considering I am in a hotel room all the way in Midland, Texas, I'm unable to do that, and I don't have any air in a can. So, besides the point. I am using the GL components rather than like the PN components or reflex one or whatever it is, because I have my reflex one ready, and I have done some weight measurements between the reflex shaft and the PN shaft, and they weigh pretty much exactly the same, which is awesome because like the GL one's super heavy compared to these. I think it's like 3 grams heavier or 2 grams heavier, which that makes a ton of difference on like super stock and stock, because if it is rotational mass. So keep that in mind. I am excited about using this rear diff, the reflex rear diff on my Reflex RX-28 that's in pan car. Haven't been able to test it out yet, but I am super excited. I think it's super slick. It looks awesome. The weight's super light on it, so that's exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that puppy back on there. I already have another one that's ready to go with a PN shaft and the GL components on there. I like to keep a couple spares for mod because it's mod, right? Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get back into it. So I went ahead and threw the balls and everything in there all cleaned up. I am putting a new one of these on, just because I don't know how old this one is. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap that out. And what I like to do is I kind of just like to rub the plates on a microfiber rag and kind of just clean them up as much as I can, make them nice and pretty. That's just me though. I don't know, people are all different, like, and I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. There's probably different ways to do it. I'm not perfect. I am new to the hobby, a year into it, so if there is other ways or ideas to do it, by all means let us know. Alrighty, so I am missing a couple balls. 1, 2, 3, missing 2 balls. Here they are. Perfect. So I do use 9 of the reflex balls with my reflex uh, rear spur gear. I've seemed to enjoy this spur a ton. It just feels like I don't know, man. I really can't tell you how it feels like compared to the PN1 or the Next Racing one in mod. Just because, you know, I don't know. I like it. That's all I know. What I like to do is I like to make sure that this has kind of a snuggish feel to it, and right now it's super free. So what I am going to do is I'm going to get some narrow double-sided tape right here, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around on the bearing itself. That way whenever I do put on the spur gear, it's a little snug. Now you don't have to do it. I just like to have that bearing kind of just snug on there, and I think it helps out, especially in mod. So we're gonna go ahead and probably speed up the process here in the video while I do this, because I am shaky and absolutely terrible. So let's get to it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and throw the bearing on there. And there is some that's going to kind of like pop out, like, which is alright. I just kind of just get my fingernail and kind of just go around it. Whatever grab, whatever didn't grab. I just noticed it makes it a little more snug, and I kind of like that feeling for it. So got all that excess off of there, that pushed out. Throw that on there, and now it's pretty snug. So all right, cool. We're gonna go ahead and bring the shaft back, the axle, and we're gonna go ahead and get the bottom side of it, which does not have a bearing, and we're gonna throw it in this puppy. Okay, it's only one way it goes with the GL. With the PN, you have a slot that goes this way as well, right? So not only do you have the slots that way, but you have them this way. Now what you want to do with that is you want to make sure that you pick the side that's going to be the most free moving when you go up and down like this on the PN one. It's going to leave have less friction on that rear diff, which is very, very important. I am using GL plates for this one, and I kind of just like to look at it and make sure there's no like scarring or anything like that, which is probably super hard for you guys to see because it's super dark. Should have set up a light, but we're gonna go ahead and throw that puppy on there, and there goes that. Then we're gonna go ahead and throw the spur gear on there. Oh yeah, that's a lot better, And while I do that, I like to put the balls into the cup, or the lid of it where it has grease on there, and then I'll kind of just move it around, make sure they're all greased up and all the goodies like that. Cool. Get the end of my tweezers and kind of just throw them in there, you know what I mean? Like you're making Kool-Aid or something. And if you don't think there's enough, you know, just scoop some up from that little bucket and get some on there. So as I said, some people do it different. I'm not saying I'm doing it the correct way. I'm just at least trying to show newcomers when they are getting into like stock touring or super stock, whatever it might be, you know, maybe new to the sport, but they're excellent at driving and don't know all the fine details. Well, then, you know, this is kind of a good idea of how to assemble it all together. Process to take it apart, it's pretty much, you know, the opposite. Same way, but the opposite, you know. I'm gonna go ahead and put all 9 balls in this one. PN spur, you can put 6. You can either put it in the limited slip holes or in the regular ones. On the PN one, which I use on my super stock, I just put it in the regular holes. I haven't really tried the limited slip holes, which is like the egg-shaped holes. At least that's what I call them. I don't really use it on there. So cool. Alrighty, we got that there. And then what I want to do is I want to kind of scoop up some of this grease, right? And I'm going to go ahead and put it on one of the side of the plates. Now the reason that I do this is because I want it to stick to this top piece, so it's not coming off constantly and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this puppy on here, and there is a certain way, it has a notch on here to put it on, so y'all be careful whenever you do put it together. They do have notches on the ring and on the plastic piece, so want to make sure it's nice flat, and that's gonna help me keep friction on here, so when I'm sliding it on, it's not popping off and, you know, being a pain in the butt. Throw that puppy down there. And we have just a right amount of spacing right here for the C-clip to go on. And this is where the pliers come in and the tweezers. So we're gonna go ahead and grab this C-clip. Try to slide it in as much as we can with the tweezers, which mine aren't the greatest in the world. And that's when I use these pliers to kind of get it at an angle to where it's on the bearing and then on the C-clip, and push it together until it clips on. Now, like I said, this is just the way I do it. I'm sure there are easier ways or whatever it is. By all means, please share your ways. I like to put this back on because I like to first hand tighten my rear discs before anything. Make sure they feel nice and good. This is my starting point in every ball diff that I build, is by doing a hand tight. And I just like to make sure it doesn't have any binding or any grinding or anything, just making sure it's feeling really smooth. Now, if, you know, maybe it does have grinding or has some sort of grit feeling to it, check your plates, make sure that they're on correctly with the plastic pieces, make sure there's enough grease, no dirt, balls aren't getting flat or bad or anything like that. So sounds good, feels good, so try to tighten it a little more. Yeah, all right, cool. That is that. And that is how I rebuild. One thing on the rear diff. I'm sorry, on the PN rear spur. The way I've always put it on is that I want to make sure that the bigger side of the egg, which is going to be on the right side right now, faces the back of the car, right? So if we put it like this, it's facing the front of it, because the bigger side of this egg hole shape is towards the front. So I flip it to have the bigger side of the egg shape hole towards the rear. That way, whenever your car is in this motion, it's pushing the balls back when it comes to the limited slip. At least that's what I think, and I kind of just thought of myself, like, you know, maybe that is how it works. I really don't know, but that's how I've always put it on. So just keep that in mind. There's like a egg shape one, and the bigger side of the egg shape, face it to the back of the car. Other than that, that's all I got. That's really all I got. Like I said, I'm rebuilding this one for mod, which is why I'm using the reflex. That's super small components that I use, small for super stock. I use the 53 yellow for. It's not super time consuming at first. It is, but once you get used to it and you kind of just start, it's what a lot of people use, doing it repetitively. You're able to kind of catch on and do it. That is all I got. Now, to people, gentlemen, tear it apart, I kiddos, do the exact same steps, but the opposite way. I go ahead and back off like the video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, as much as I can without it falling apart. Other videos with and then push everything down, take the C clip off, and kind of just dump everything in cars, and do the same process for know how to tape tires. Showed you. And that's really it. Tire tape to not use. Super complicated or anything like that. Do an introduction or there's one thing on the PN rear diff, assembling, you know, front suspension or GLR questions, reflex racing questions. Let me know. I'll do the best that I can to answer any questions. If not, I'll reach out to the correct people to get those questions asked. But there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And I hope this helps somebody out there. So take care. Later.